Right guys, I'm just going to do a real quick video on how to clean the scratch plate on a Jem 90th. It's a gorgeous guitar that was made in 1998 to celebrate the 90th anniversary of Ibanez's parent company, Hoshino. And they came not only with a crazy textured paint finish, but a mirrored scratch plate, and it's metal, unlike a lot of the scratch plates you'd find on, say, the Jem 7 BSB and DBK. And the problem with this scratch plate, it's gorgeous, high quality, but it clouds quite a lot. And mine is no different. Mine's clouded as well, just under the pickups quite a bit. And I just wanted to clean it. Now what you can do is send these off and have them replated, but it's quite pricey and time consuming. So what we're going to be doing today is cleaning it with this Autosol, which is a metal cleaning polish specialist one for brilliant chrome, aluminium and brass and copper. So this should do the trick. Let's have a go. Okay, before we get into this, I just forgot to say, this is not a refinish. You know, I'm not using sandpaper. There's so many ways of buffing metal and looking after it and refinishing it and this and that. I'm not getting too far into it. This is just a clean, okay? So try not to slam me in the comments because I didn't use 8 million grits of sandpaper. Similarly, I'm quite relaxed with my guitars. I'm quite relaxed. I use them, I play professionally. I believe guitars were meant to be used, not stored under a bed and handled with gloves. But if you do, that's absolutely fine. I've got no problems with that. But what I'd say is, bear in mind, I'm just quite chilled out when I'm doing my work on this. And I know that will horrify some of you and you'll wish I'd done it, you know, on a soft pad and with gloves and this and that under laboratory conditions. If that's your style, great. It's not mine and I'm fine with that. So don't go into the comments and just slander me because I didn't do it the way you would have done it. I don't care. Okay, so let's have a look at what we need to get into this. So I've got, as I mentioned, a tube of Autosol. Now, as I'll mention a bit later, there's another one as well you can get called Autosol M1, which is supposedly a bit kinder. You can use that if you want. I don't think it's too much of an issue with this kind of metal. I've also got the Ibanez tool. You can buy these on Amazon, wherever, all good shops. They're not too expensive, and I tell you what, this little thing's invaluable. I've used mine loads. It's got most tools. Obviously, it's got all the tools you need for an Ibanez. But to be honest with you, I do loads of tinkering on all my guitars, and it very rarely doesn't have something useful on it for just general guitar maintenance. So one of those. And I've got a microfiber cloth. Okay, and I've also got just off screen a glasses microfiber cloth as well, another one. You could just use 2 microfiber cloths if you want, but basically I've used the big microfiber cloth for the application. Once that's kind of gone in a bit, I've then switched over to the smaller one to get the buff. Okay, here we go. All right, so I've got my Jem. I'm on a table. This isn't ideal, but I'm just going to be careful. So first thing I want to do is I really want to get off the hardware that I need to get off. So I'm going to take my DiMarzio clip block off. I really like this one. I think it goes nicely with the wildness of this Jem. So what I'm going to need to do ideally here is to take the strings off and the pickups. Now, logic would dictate that's going to involve a huge amount of work, but what we're actually going to do is we're going to keep these locked down at the top, and then we're going to just take the springs off the back without adjusting anything. And I've done this plenty of times with Ibanez. It's one of the great things about Floyd Rose actually, is that once it's set and in position, it's happy to go back into position quite easily. So you're going to have to ignore some of the noises in the background. My dog is playing with a bone. Alright, so what I'm going to do is remove the springs from this claw part here. Now this can be a bit tricky, so I'm going to use the whammy bar to help me here. The first one in the middle usually comes off quite easily. But what you need to do, obviously the strings are now going to pull the bridge this way, away from you, putting more tension on. So I'm just going to use the whammy bar to help do in the opposite direction. Okay, so now they're off, we can actually take the trem off and out of the way, like so, and just set it to one side and not have to worry about that. I'm just going to take off the other parts now. Okay, so I've got the screws off, so now obviously the scratch plate is free floating. I can pull it up and we can move it slightly, at least, out of the way, so we can clean it a bit more. What I'm going to do is just take the pickups off as well. Hopefully you've done this kind of thing before. It's very easy. Pickups just mount onto the scratch plate. There's a spring that's a bit fiddly, and obviously remember which way they go round. What you'll notice at the bottom right of the corner, the pickups, it just says Damasio, so that should be facing down at the bottom nearest the controls. Alright, I'm going to get these pickups off, then we'll get buffing. Just be careful when you do this, because obviously the springs can send things flying. That's how pickups move up and down. The spring tension can be quite big. That one's worked out all right. It's not absolutely vital, but I'm going to put these in the order I'm taking them out, so I can put them back in the same position. I'm keeping the spring and the screw together. Okay, I've decided I'm just going to pop these off as well, just because it's just going to make it a lot easier to work with. So you've got two screws either side here for the pickup selector, and then you'll just want a little needle nose wrench or socket to take off the volume and tone. So I've just got some nice needle nose pliers here. I'm just going to use these to get off the volume and tone. They're never that tight. And obviously I'm going to keep the washers on the pots. And we have the scratch plate off. Okay, so I'm going to be careful not to upset anything too much here. But I'm going to move the guitar out of the way now. Ready. To put everything back in a minute. Okay, because it's a wooden surface that's only wax treated and my girlfriend will absolutely murder me, I'm going to do this on an old towel. So here's your Autosol, big metal polish. And I'm going to use microfibre cloth to apply it. I've got another microfibre cloth to do a little bit of extra buffing. So I'm just going to pop a little bit on the cloth and work it in, see how we go. It smells quite a lot like boot polish. Bring back not so fond memories of secondary school. Obviously I'm not going to do that side. I'm not a maniac. Okay, I'm just going to use a different part of the cloth and start to buff, and we'll see how shiny we can go. Okay, so it's definitely working. Hopefully you can see that. I've just done a hole in the middle and it's getting really nice and clear. So I'm just going to rub it in a little bit more with the original cloth before giving it a real strong buff. This product does say the original and best, and if I'm honest with you, if you go on a lot of forums, you're not finding many people to disagree. What you will find occasionally is there's a different variant of it called Autosol M1, which is supposedly a bit softer on plastic finishes and chrome plating that's not been lacquered and so on, but because it's just a metal, it's a bit of a toss-up as to which one you could use. I decided to just go for that bad boy. Alright, so I'm going to give it a real good buff now. I'm actually just using a glasses cloth, a microfibre glasses cloth here, and I'm just trying to buff nice circles. And obviously the benefit is you can look into it as you do this and get a good idea of how clear it's going. I'm concentrating a lot on the area that was quite clouded. It is looking a lot better now. Got a few stubborn bits here, so I'm just going to let the material cut through a little bit. Give it another little coat. Okay, random bit of trivia for you. As I'd mentioned, it's quite a rare guitar, but they're actually based on a much rarer guitar. It's a J Custom model that was released a year earlier called the RG Metal 1. There's a picture of it on the screen now. And you can see it looks very, very similar. It's essentially just not got the handle. Yeah, gorgeous guitar, really stunning. Okay, so there is, you know, a good first pass at it. It's far shinier than it was and cleaner, looking really beautiful. Benefit of something like this is that you can do it, you know, as many times as you like and need. So if it does cloud up again, which it will, you can just rebuff it at a later point. I'm just going to run over it again real quick, and then we're going to see the results. All right, so I've just had another polish, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. As I said at the start, this isn't a refinish. You know, it's not perfect, but it is a good clean, and it kind of just brings it back up to what it could be again temporarily, which is a nice thing to be able to do because it's not really that much effort to take apart. So I'm just going to do everything in reverse now, put it all back together the way it was, and show you the finished article. All right, there we go. I'm really chuffed with the results. Considering, you know, how cheap it is to get hold of, it's just like a mirror again. And it was dead easy. What you might notice is with the studio lights on, you can kind of see some of the swirls and finger marks and whatnot, but as soon as that's off, it just looks perfect. So yeah, not sure how long it will last, but what I'll do is a follow-up as soon as I need to redo it. So with that in mind, give me a like and subscribe. I've got all sorts of other great content, got loads of other gorgeous guitars to play, tutorials, gear reviews, all sorts of stuff. Let me know what kind of stuff you want me to cover, and I'll see you next time.